Would you breathe with me, please? Take in and let go. And again. And let it go. And one more time. I hope that grounds you as much as it grounds me. I always appreciate it when you agree to breathe with me. So as I say every year, since I've been here, going on 6 years, folks. I know. And one of the things that I love about being an American living in Canada is that I get to celebrate a nationally sanctioned Day of Gratitude twice every year. Here in Canada, we do it the second Monday in October, and in the States, we do it the fourth Thursday in November. You all think of it as being the day before Black Friday. I know. I'll explain that legend one time, okay? Because it's not what you think. It's got a completely different idea. So regardless of where you are, regardless of how you are celebrating Thanksgiving, I'm willing to bet that as you sit down before your sumptuous feast, whether it was yesterday, today, or tomorrow, either you or someone is going to say an expression of gratitude, such as a prayer or grace or something like that. Saying grace, how many of you were raised saying grace in your household? Yeah, me too. You know, something we were raised to do it, even though it didn't really mean all that much to us, even if we didn't carry it into our lives as adults. For instance, when I was a kid, this is the way we said ours. Father, bless this food we take and bless us all for Jesus' sake, amen. And we did it just like that. By rote, there was no emotion to it. There was no true gratitude. We were only doing it so that we could then start eating afterwards. Father, bless this food we take and bless us all for Jesus' sake, amen. So there are some kids, however, who are given a little more leeway in how they do grace. I heard recently about a true story, I understand, about a woman who invited a bunch of people over for a meal, and the meal prep didn't go well. It was really hard, and she was really frustrated by the time everybody got there. And they sit down to dinner, and the mom says to the little girl, she says, "Honey, why don't you do grace?" And the little girl says, "Oh, I don't know how. I don't know what to say." And the mom says, "That's okay, honey. Just say what Mama says." So the little girl bows her head, and she says, "Dear Lord, why did I invite all these people? You thought it was going to be naughty, didn't you? You are the naughty ones, not me." So obviously, today's topic is gratitude, not only because it's something I love to talk about it, but also because it is a wonderful, effective, dynamic, exciting spiritual practice. And we love our spiritual practices, right? We love having those tools in our tool belt or our tool chest so that when we are in a place where maybe we're not seeing that spiritual truth about ourselves, we have something that we can pull out of our tool chest and remind ourselves. That's why we do spiritual practices. That's why we practice gratitude. So gratitude is something that we can indulge in every day. It doesn't have to just be on Thanksgiving, whether it's in October, whether it's in November. In fact, I love this, and I love this little cartoon. This is Mutt's cartoon. I don't know if you all remember it, but it's a phrase from Meister Eckhart. If the only prayer you say in your life is thank you, that would suffice. Reverend Marjorie used that in her meditation this morning as well. If the only prayer you say in your life is thank you, that would be enough. That would suffice. Because the truth is we have so much to be thankful for. Just like Amy sang about. Even even when things may not be going quite the way you want. Maybe your relationship's a little rockier, or maybe your job isn't very satisfying, or maybe you aren't your right and perfect body size, especially after this weekend, or maybe the kids aren't doing as well as you would like them to be doing. Or maybe there's something like really major going on. Maybe there's a health challenge going on, or a significant life change, or maybe a job loss, or maybe a house loss or something. And I get that when times like that, it can be really, really difficult to express and live from gratitude. And yet, when it comes right down to it, even now, we live in a time and place that is so blessed. It is so abundant. We are so free that, if nothing else, is enough to be grateful for. Here's something that puts it into perspective. I've been using this little essay for many years, and the ratios may have changed a little bit, but I think the idea is still pretty dynamic. It says here, if you could shrink the Earth's population to a village of precisely 100 people, there would be 57 Asians, 21 Europeans, 14 from the Western Hemisphere, both North and South, 8 Africans, 52 would be female, 48 would be male, 70 would be non-white, 30 would be white, 70 would be non-Christian, 30 would be Christian, 89 would be heterosexual, 11 would be homosexual. 6 people would possess 59% of the entire world's wealth, and all 6 of them would be from North America. 80 would live in substandard housing. 70 would be unable to read. 50 would suffer from malnutrition. 1 would be near death. 1 would be near birth. 1 would have a college education. And 1 would own a computer. Raise your hand if you own a computer. Raise your hand if you own more than one computer. Raise your hand if you have a smartphone. Yeah. When we consider our lives from a perspective like that, the opportunity to become grateful is pretty apparent. It's pretty obvious. Would you agree? And there may be a metaphysical reason for it. We live in one of the few countries in the world that has a nationally sanctioned holiday to express gratitude, to give thanksgiving. And we also live in one of the most prosperous, well-educated, envied countries in the world. I don't think that's a coincidence. You understand what I'm saying? We have a day of Thanksgiving, and we live in a prosperous country. Like attracts like. Everything starts with a thought, ladies and gentlemen. So when a group of people focus on a particular thought or a particular feeling, in this case gratitude, it can't help but ripple out and affect the world we live in. And the reason for that is, as Eric Butterworth puts it, gratitude is a causative energy. Gratitude is a causative energy. In other words, expressing gratitude causes and attracts more things in our lives for which to be grateful. It's like a giant magnet for good. Are you with me? Yeah. Ernest Holmes put it like this. He said, nothing can happen to the outside unless there is something corresponding to it on the inside of life. Everything comes to us through the law of attraction. We cannot draw anything to us until there is first an avenue for that thing through which the thing can flow toward us. as within, so without. And when we express gratitude, when we live from a place of gratitude, it is creating an avenue through which our good can find us and come to us. So when we choose to practice gratitude and thanksgiving, we are saying to the universe, this, I want more of this. I want more of this good coming to me. Christian Northrup said this: feeling grateful or appreciative of someone or something in your life actually attracts more of the things that you appreciate and value into your life. It is the law of attraction. The Secret didn't make that up. They capitalized on it. Law of attraction has been talked about for hundreds of years. What we put our focus on expands. Another one, energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. So when we put our focus on what is working, for those things that we are grateful for those experiences that we can raise up and praise, the energy of the universe follows in that direction. And the opposite is also true. So if we're sitting around thinking all the stuff we don't have, or I don't feel good, or my relationship sucks, or my job sucks, or fill in the blank, we are continuing to attract those conditions as well, because energy flows where attention goes. So if you want to have more of anything, start by consciously raising and praising, expressing gratitude for the things that you do have, and not just on Thanksgiving. There's a story of a very successful businessman who was asked by a magazine, they were doing an article on him, about his interviewing techniques. How was it that he found and maintained such excellent employees that lead to his success? And he said that he gives a battery of intelligence and personality tests to each job applicant. And one of the questions on that application is, if you were given $1 million, what would be the first thing you would buy? One young man said, a thank you card. Right? Right? That young man understood the value of gratitude, and he used it to his advantage. Now, some people may think that sounds kind of manipulative, but it isn't, because we use laws all the time. We use the law of electricity to light our homes, to heat our homes, to put light here, to use my microphone. We use the law of electricity, and we don't go, oh God, are we manipulating it? Are we going to hurt its feelings? No. We use the law of propulsion to drive our cars here. All the laws that we talk about, whether they are physical laws or they are spiritual laws, are here for us to use. So if we happen to understand and use the law of gratitude, which is another name for the law of attraction, if we use it, all it means is that we are consciously participating in co-creating our lives. There's nothing manipulative about it. It is the intelligent use of something that is and always has been available to us and available for us and there to work with us. So I'd like to share with you, this is a true story, not the mother with the kid that prayed. This is a true story from one of my beloveds in my former center in California. Her name was Ruth Levert, and she lived to be a little over 100 years old. I loved Ruth the day I met her, which was my first day as a brand new minister 20 years ago next week. Yeah. October 16th, you can go look at my license hanging in my office. October 16th, 1998. 1998, no, I'm proud of it. I was 41. She was 91. And she walked up to me, and she used one little cane. She walked up to me, and she said, "Oh, no, this will never do. You're far too young." I fell in love with her that day. True story, we became fast, good, wonderful, great friends. And Ruth was one of the most positive, one of the most prosperous, gracious, loving people that I have ever known in my life, which is really saying something, because growing up, Ruth, she was born in, she died in 2006. I think she was born in 1906. Does that work? Is that 100 years? Yeah, just right after her 100th birthday. And she grew up with some really challenging experiences and misfortunes, some of which would have made a person very bitter, very angry. For instance, her mother was a very strict first-generation Russian Jew, and she was not kind to Ruth, not kind. Emotional abuse like you cannot even believe. On the other hand, Ruth's father was a loving man who intuitively understood some of these things we're talking about. He too was a first-generation Russian Jew. And yet he knew and he taught his children some of these things that we talk about every day. And he passed that knowledge on. And it sustained her through some very dark experiences. So she loved to tell the story about when she was a little girl. And she came home from school one day. Her dad's out on the front porch. And she runs up to him, and her father asked her, "Ruth, what was your gift today? What was your gift today?" Well, naturally, she's a little kid, right? She thinks she's going to get a present, so she runs into the house. She looks all over. She can't find anything. She's disappointed. She comes back and says to her dad there wasn't anything in the house. She was disappointed. And he went on to explain this to her. He said, every day, something happens in your life that makes it better. Maybe it's a compliment that someone gives you, or a good grade in school, or a smile from a stranger on the street. He said, if when you go to bed, you go over your day, you will be able to find that you were given a gift every day. From that moment on, Ruth used that as a spiritual practice. She didn't call it that at the time, but she would talk about her gift. And she practiced it until the day she died, 100 years later. She would go to bed, and she would review her day to come up with her gift. And the beauty of that was, as she was reviewing her day so that she could choose her gift, she found that she was going, ooh, I could have used that because that was really cool, and oh, maybe I could choose that. In other words, she was finding that she had a number of gifts that she could choose. And the result was she went to sleep every night in gratitude. So my gift to you all today is that simple little spiritual practice. Simple little practice. When you go to bed at night, review your day and choose your gift for the day. Not because you have to choose one, like, oh no, this is my only one, but it will cause you to begin to see all of the events of your life as a potential gift. So, of course, you know we're going to practice that, right? So I'm going to invite Steve to come up. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. For the next few moments, there's nothing you need to be doing. Perfectly safe. We're in good time, everything. So just close your eyes if that's comfortable. Allow yourself to let go. of all the things you should be doing, or am I doing it right, or anything like that. Just let go and just feel yourself relaxing into your chair. And here it is, a little after 11, Sunday morning, October 7th. You got up this morning, you had coffee, maybe you had breakfast. Maybe you checked Facebook or the news, looked at the weather, started planning what you're going to be doing the rest of the day for Thanksgiving. So just from the time that you woke up to right now, what was your gift? What is your gift? What is the possibility when you go to bed tonight that this will remain your gift for the day? Or could there be more? Could there be infinitely more? And so now, gently open your eyes and take a leap of faith and turn to someone and tell them what your gift is. Go ahead and do it. Take a leap of faith. Find someone. If you did not have an opportunity to share, you're going to see somebody today. Somebody's going to cross your path or whatever. You might share the practice and you might share your gift. I just wanted you to notice what happened in the room when we did that. Something happened. And I want to thank you all. Every Sunday you show up. For almost 6 years now. For some of you, 40 years. You are my gift. You are my gift. Happy Thanksgiving, and so it is.